Good morning and welcome. I had a little glitch on trying to sign in. I don't know what I was doing. It told me to stand by and back out because of some trouble. But then, luckily, I have my great producer there, that Grace, that helped me get me back on the podcast. I have no idea what I was doing wrong. But anyway, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad you all are here. You're here to fight CPS with me. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host. And I've been fighting CPS for 14 years, or talking about it and telling about the woes in it. I myself was involved for 3 years when they took my children away. And so I have many uh, years of experience of my children being trafficking by CPS and them being alienated from their parents. It was sad. It really was sad. And they were taken out of the home and they're not in extreme danger. That's the sad part because CPS now has really become really bad. And it's a money making business, and they rather do the money than treat the parents fair or anything else. They want to grab your children because they want to start making money. Now, this is a interactive podcast, so I'd love for y'all to text me in comments about how things are going with your CPS case, or if you have questions about your CPS case, or you have questions about me in general. Um, all you do is type in your message. I'd like you to put your city and state you're from so I get a general idea where this is coming from. I've talked to over 100 people in the last couple of months, and I talked to pretty much every state. I think one of the new states was Missouri yesterday. Had someone from Missouri came in. And so CPS, the child protection system, is everywhere. In California, they're called CPS, Child Protection Services. In Arizona, it's Department of Child Services, DCS. Other states would be other things. But I've talked to a lot of people here with their CPS case in different stages. A couple nights ago, I had a caseworker from Maryland that texted in and that had all kinds of concerns what I was saying. And it was great. I offered her the talk on the show, but she wasn't interested. And then when I tried to do some confrontations, she just wasn't interested. So I don't know if it was somebody just playing a game with me or not. They had a real picture, a real name. They're in Maryland. And one of my regular listeners, Kay, who's from um, Kentucky, Richmond, Kentucky, thinks that she may have been a plant and stalking her. So I know, you have no control over who's in your room. Hopefully, everybody's a good person out there, and that you're using this honestly, and that you're not abusing this system. Um, so you can text in, and as I say, make sure your state and city are listed. And if you're from another country, I welcome you, and that could be very, very important there too. Um, the the child protection services is, I in my case, was corrupt and no good. All the other cases, it seems to be the same thing. Their main focus is how much money they can make off your child by keeping the case open, and they really are not your friend. They're not honest. They use a lot of deception. They lie to you, which is really hard. But so when you text in, if you're from a country, that's okay. I'd love to hear from you. And you can type in your message and I'll try to answer it. And again, the people from Outside the United States, they have CPS problems too. I've had text messages from Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, Ghana, Mexico, and Mozambique. Those are the people that have been out of state there. So the United States has been pretty much everywhere. Pretty much everywhere. Now, I want to welcome you to my podcast. Warm welcome, because I know you're going through a lot. It's one of the most horrible experiences that you have to go through. Another way you can interact on this podcast is that you could call in at 626-698-0990, and you'll reach me. That's my work number, and I'll answer during this podcast. I'm on this podcast twice a day, 7 days a week. Typically, I'm in the morning at 10 for an hour Pacific Standard Time. And then I'm on an evening at 7 o'clock at night for an hour. And that's Monday through Friday. Now, there are some exceptions for that. I have a commitment this weekend that I've been doing for 49 years. And so my podcasts in the morning are going to be on at 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the morning. So it's an early podcast, but a lot of you are up and around. And so this might suit you there because you have to go to work and you want to listen to my podcast. The night times will remain the same, except on Sunday, I'll move it to 9:30. So there's 7 o'clock in the evenings on Friday and Saturday, and Sunday at 9:30. And the mornings will be all 4 a.m. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. I look forward to you joining me there. Now, besides calling me, if you want to call a later date, you can email Grace at vincentwdavis.com, and she'll set you up to be on my show. Just tell her what date and what time I want to be on Bob's Monday afternoon show or Bob's morning show. So you just tell her that, and she will designate which show you can be on or which ones she has openings for. And again, all you have to do is email Grace at vincentwdavis.com. That's Grace at vincentwdavis.com. And the phone number, my office number, is there on the screen, and the email ticket is running across the bottom of my screen. So it's there if you forget it. But I do enjoy having someone else talk besides myself, and plus it gives more things to look up, more things to prepare for. Because what's happened to you, you've been approached by the worst nightmare you could ever have laid on you. And you may be at the worst part of your life. I was myself. And there's a lot of things that surround your environment that you could be troublesome, I guess, to what it is. Now, I have 3 rules I'll go over shortly. I have a lot of different topics to talk on. I prefer to try and make it different each time and have you, if you have questions, to ask me. What do I do in this case? What do I do in this case? Just describe what your question is, and I'll try to help you. Just text it in along with your city and state so I know where you're from. Now, you probably have just started out and you don't really know what you got yourself into, or you've been doing this for a long time and you know what you got yourself into. Be forewarned. Child protection services or the system is not your friend. is not your friend. And so, so the different topics are things that might help you get motions through the courts and things like that. Now, the thing that I'd like to tell you a little bit about is how this whole thing starts. And you start with allegations. And allegations are usually over the phone. There are two kinds of people that do it: lay people and welcome and hello. Who's and
Hi,
who's
how you doing, sir?
pretty good? Who is
my name,
this?
my name is Letitia Watkins, and I'm currently dealing with DHS in Des Moines, Iowa, and I was arrested on an out-of-state warrant from Wisconsin, February 8th, 2022. I called the police because my ex-girlfriend, who was a neighbor of mine, she had kicked me in the stomach. And so I didn't want to fight, so I called the police to file a report. They came back like 2 hours later, held me and my children at gunpoint until DHS arrived to get my 3 children. And they've been in foster placement ever since.
Well, can we stop there for a second to know? Okay, you are in Des Moines, Iowa, but does this happen in Wisconsin?
Okay, so the warrant for my arrest, I don't know, like I had an incident where I was living in Wisconsin with me and my 3 children, and 9 females and a male jumped me, and I fought to protect me and my 3 children, and I lost the baby in the process. So,
I'm sorry about your loss there. Why did they jump you?
I have no idea, sir. Jealousy, envy.
Okay, so was this a rough neighborhood you're living in?
I was living in like a complex where it was low income.
Okay.
And I was like one of the highest paid blacks. So
yeah, understand
I had a lot
that.
of envy and jealousy.
Yeah, I understand how they could go there. So all this is transferred in Wisconsin. Where did the warrant come from?
Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You had to file you called the police in Des Moines, Iowa, and they ran a check on you?
Reported incident of my ex-girlfriend kicking me in the stomach, and
right.
They wrote down my name and information, and they said they were going to file a report. But then one of the officers that was there earlier, he came back with a different partner, and they knocked on my door. They said they needed to speak with me. It was urgent. I'm thinking they probably found the girl, or they want me to sign off on arresting her or whatever. So I opened the door, and of course, it's me and my 3 children and my emotional support animal in the home. So I leave my door cracked. I was in the process of cleaning up. I step out. I said, yes, what's going on? They said, are you such and such? I said, yeah. They was like, you have a warrant for your arrest. I'm like, nah, this cannot be true. Like, I did lose a driver's license in Chicago. Like, I don't know what someone did. Like, are you serious? They was like, yeah. And then they was like, one of the officers, he was yelling things, talking about some child neglect, some. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I thought he was trying to like make fun of me and my kids. So the other officer who came there earlier, he shut the door on my children. I said, what are you doing? Like, I have a 1-year-old. My son is 2. My oldest daughter, she was 3 at the time. I said, you cannot shut the door on my kids. Like, I'm going to go back in here with my children. So when I placed my hand on the doorknob, that's when one of the officers had put the gun. And he came in with his gun pointed at my back and at my children, and they literally held us at gunpoint.
What was the imminent danger that they were taking you from? What was the imminent danger?
I don't know. I didn't have anything on. I had on a skirt and a top, and I was cleaning my home with my 3 children.
No, I meant the imminent danger. Was there fighting going on? Was the children being slammed against the wall? What was the imminent danger? Because they don't touch the children if there's no imminent danger. But it sounds like there was something that
There
could harm the
wasn't no
children.
imminent danger, sir. They was arresting me on an out of state warrant from Wisconsin, and they
That
called
they can
DHS
do
because
that.
they
They can
wanted
do
to.
that. They can do that if they have a warrant. If you promised to appear and you didn't, and you failed not to appear, there is arrest warrant.
I knew nothing about this incident in Wisconsin.
So was this incident at Wisconsin something you never knew about? It was all false?
Yeah, it was something I never knew about. Like, the fight did take place. I gave my statement twice, the night of the fight and also another time where the officers just walked in my home and got the statement, and that was it. So I did not know nothing about anyone trying to press charges or anything like that. I didn't know until, I was held in for 25 days in Polk County Jail, waiting to get extradited, and I spent 5 days in Wisconsin. I did not know the actual charges until I was in Wisconsin jail.
All right, and when you got to Wisconsin, were you arranged by the judge there to see the judge?
Yeah, I saw the judge. I bonded out. The case was dropped a year later with no prejudice.
Okay.
All charges dismissed. But yet this incident has been going on for like 2 years with DHS, and they have forced all 3 of my children to undergo surgery.
Why they have to go surgery? You still have medical rights.
What did you say, sir?
You still have medical rights, right?
Yeah, I do. I
okay.
Never signed off
so
on
they can't do surgery. They're not doctors, and they don't have a court order.
They got court orders, and they did the surgery, sir.
You're telling me that the CPS got a judge to sign a piece of paper that said they're allowed to do surgery on your children?
Yes. I'm
wow.
I have proof.
I cannot believe when that is a new one on me. I knew about.
They forced my teeth. See, my youngest daughter, she was 3 years old when she had to undergo surgery. She had a dental cleaning, and they talked about her teeth decaying, but they said surgery could be put off till she was at least 5, 6 years old.
What was the surgery they needed to be done? What was the surgery they needed to be done?
Well, I'm trying to explain. So DHS had got her another dental cleaning prematurely, and I told them, like, hey, she already had a dental cleaning in November. They got her a dental cleaning sometime between January and February, and when she got that dental cleaning again, it exposed the main vein in her gums, which caused for her to have emergency surgery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then my oldest daughter, she's 7, she'll be 8. They forced her to have tonsil surgery. And then they're talking about replacing her ear tubes, and they're talking about forcing surgery on my son and replacing his ear tubes as well. The courts just granted an emergency order to do so.
Now, what doctor did a medical doctor look at your daughter's eardrums? I
don't know, because the DHS worker have not shown me any type of medical proof that they need this.
Wow, they've opened themselves up for a civil lawsuit. One of my rules I tell everybody is rule number 3, that you don't talk to police or social workers. Don't let them in your home unless they have a warrant. And if you're in your home and you peek through and you see them outside, then you can drop them and not answer the door. But you said they had a warrant for removing the children because they're in some extreme danger.
They had a warrant to remove me, but I didn't have family out of Des Moines, Iowa, and I was thinking, they'll just let a family member come pick them up, since all of my family were in Chicago.
Weren't you over the age of 18? How could they remove you? You're over the age of 18, right?
Yeah, that is correct, but...
Okay, you're not a minor. CPS only deals with people under the age of 18.
I'm talking about when I was arrested. So
okay, I'm sorry. I thought you said CPS had a court order. CPS did not have the court order?
No, they didn't have a court order to remove the children because, I didn't do anything to harm my children.
Right, okay. Then who took care of the children when you were being arrested by the police?
They it was the DHS worker that was called out, and she leaked my address to my baby daddy. And
Did she talk to your partner, your children's father?
I have not been with that man for 5 years. He
Understood.
used to beat on me.
Did he want to do anything to help out here, or is he out of the picture?
He has not been involved in this case
Okay.
at all.
All right. So is there a family member you could have put the child with to watch the children while you
Yes,
get...
my auntie, but then the courts try to say that she has a health element where she can't because she's 70 years old, and then they haven't even tried to explore other family relatives or place them. My baby daddy auntie, she wanted to take the children in. She's a legitimate licensed foster parent in Illinois, and my sister, she wanted to take them in as well. She's a supervisor at a post office, so
Okay.
they haven't even explored them. They're trying to terminate my parental rights and try to say that I'm an unfit mother. They trying to allege that I beat my children with a belt, which I never did so.
So they say that you did physical abuse?
They're trying to allege that I did physical abuse.
Now, who is reporting physical abuse? Is your kids saying that to the social worker?
No. My daughter, when I got out of jail, I had a Zoom visit with my daughter while she was in foster care, and she was like, Mom, I need to tell you something. And I'm like, what, baby? She was like, it was some lady, Vanessa, which was the first DHS worker that removed them, and she said some other lady was with her. She was like, they came and the foster parents let them in, and they were like, they gave them like ice cream, cake, food, snacks, and toys and something like that. And then they were talking to my children, and they told my daughter to say that I beat her with a belt. And my daughter was like, why are you, but my mother never hit me. My mother never beat me. Would you just leave me alone? I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to play. Why you keep saying my mother beat me? And so she like got angry, and I'm like, baby, it's okay. Like, you didn't do anything wrong. She's like, but Mom, you don't understand. And I have my brother over there. He's like, look, yeah, you're right. Mama, see, she did beat me with a belt. She hit me on my feet. And I'm like, what? I still didn't know what my daughter was talking about. So when I saw that she was upset and she was angry, I tried to console her. But yeah, they trying to allege that my children said it. At the time, my son was 2 years old. He had just turned 3. And they questioned why I was in jail. But they had a physical and nothing was founded. I have submitted doctor statements.
When your arrangement that was falsely, when you were falsely accused that you had a warrant and you got all that cleared up, did you show that to CPS that there was a false arrest?
I showed it to the court that all charges was dropped. Yeah.
And so why are they still holding your children? Because of physical abuse with discipline?
Sir.
Well, they're supposed to...
They still trying to claim the physical abuse. They trying to say that it was founded based on what my children said. But we never saw any pictures, nothing. And then they failed to mention that when you do... like, I wasn't even properly investigated. Like, someone just called me. I was in a shop. I had put my car in a shop. I was still in Des Moines, Iowa at this time, sir.
Okay.
I put my car in a shop. Someone called me out the blue, like, hey, I'm with DCFS. I received allegations that you beat your children with a belt. And I said, I don't... Ma'am, who are you again? Because what's your name? And she's like, my name's Celine. I said, well, what's your last name? And what are your credentials? Because you just say you from the department. I'm thinking you're my new DHS worker they were going to get, but I know her name. They told me her name was Jenna Jensen. You're not her. So who are you? And she was like, well, like I stated, ma'am, your children allege that you beat them with a belt. I said, my children would never say no such thing. Like, what is this? I said, you know what? If you're going to make those type of allegations, I currently have a custody hearing going on. I have an attorney. Her name is Lori Holm. You could contact her. She was, I didn't know you had an attorney.
Yeah, you definitely, I tell people.
Up in my face.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing is, they don't like people that have attorneys because they know the attorneys will give them fight. See, what they're trying to do, they're trying to run a smoke screen on you to traffic your children, and they're trying to get the rights from your children so they can put their children into foster care and have them be adopted and collect money till they're 18. They're getting $20,000 per child per month. That's a lot of money, and they're doing it for the bonuses. All the social workers work on bonuses. It's horrible. It's the ones I dealt with in Orange County, in California, lied on the stand. We caught them in the lie. They don't have credentials. They don't have a license. They don't. I'm hearing some background in the background noise. Is that me talking?
I think it is you talking. It's
Yeah. Well, you need to turn off
I recently had
the background noise. Yeah.
had a judge. I don't know what the background noise is. I recently had a judge. Her name was Judge Belcher. She's the only black judge in Des Moines, Iowa, and she recently retired, so she couldn't make up her mind with the placement of my children. So because it had entered into almost a 2-year period, she said, "I'm going to retire. You're going to get a new judge, and by law, they're going to have to petition to terminate your parental rights." But Ms. Watkins, you do need to understand, you still are the sole legal guardian of all 3 of your children. You still have
and you
to
can
have
appeal
physical
those termination
with your
rights.
children.
You can appeal that termination rights. You can appeal it.
You can't appeal it until after they make a decision.
Oh, true. But before that, make decision. You can show your arguments in court with your attorney.
Yeah. That's when you actually fight it at trial.
Right.
It's
You
need
need
like a 2-day trial. It was supposed to take
Yeah.
place on the 25th or 26th of this month, but my father recently passed away, so his funeral is going to be the 26th. And my attorney had to file to get a continuance. And then the attorney for DHS, Ms. Hagemeyer, she's going to say, Your Honor, this is such a coincidence. Like, her daddy coincidentally died. The funeral is the 26th, and you should deny the continuance. And the judge was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Right. You got to be careful. We don't want to use names on the show. So you can say social worker 1, social worker 2, or policeman 1, policeman 2.
Well, the DHS attorney. So, yeah, she said that, and I thought that was like very disrespectful. Like, come on, my father did pass away April 5th, and I'm still grieving my father. But at the same token, I'm more fearful and concerned about my children and their well-being, because my children's health has rapidly been declining in foster placement, and it's been 2 years. My kids had a whole clean bill of health that I could prove medical records wise, and I'm scared. I'm fearful for my children and their well-being. And
what is your attorney saying?
Huh?
What is your attorney saying?
That we could just try to bring all of these matters up in a termination hearing. And,
how did you find your attorney?
She's court appointed.
Oh, so she's just a public defender. I thought you had a professional attorney.
No, I don't have a professional attorney, and I think that's the main problem.
Well, that is the problem, because public defenders will not protect you. They will not defend your case very, very well. And so it's going to be hard, because you're probably, as you say, low income. It's hard to get an attorney, because with the public defender, they're going to do the easy way out. They're friends with the court, friends with the judge, and they're going to do the easy way.
Well, I'm just actually happy to, get my story out there. And
I'm glad you are.
And I'm praying that
I'm just trying to think of how they
returned
help
back.
you.
And like I said, no one has to answer, sir, as to why it's been 2 years, I've maintained employment. I've done a mental health evaluation. I've done psychological evaluations and passed that. I've done a substance abuse evaluation. I've done parenting classes twice. I've done domestic violence classes. I've provided a roof over me and my children's heads. I've maintained employment, so I don't know what else it is these people want from me. And then the worker, my children worker, she keeps saying like, "Oh, you're not doing things up to our standards, our standards."
What
And
can you give an example? What they're referring to?
I don't know. That's
Oh.
what she say all the time. So when my previous attorney tried to ask her, "Is you implying some type of racial thing?" And she's like, "No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying." And then she go into like a lot of negative things about me.
Well, see, they got the wrong impression already because someone had falsely used your name and had a warrant out on you. And so that right about there, they are.
I didn't hear what she said.
Okay. Someone.
Your phone went out. You said they got the wrong impression that someone.
Well, I think the social workers got the wrong impression of you because they thought you had not appeared on a criminal matter.
Yeah, I knew nothing about that, but my previous landlord, she had all my information to contact me, and she did it. So that's why I'm saying it's crazy that I didn't even know that the warrant was out there. If I would have known that, of course, I would have appeared, and this would have never transpired. And then, I could have made preparations for my children while fighting this criminal case.
Right.
It could have actually been avoided.
You could have put the kids in with a family member. You're right.
Yeah. But I didn't know nothing about it, so that's just how it happened.
Well, the criminal matter is over then, right? The criminal matter is over, right? Okay. So what you're now fighting is a negligence, fighting physical abuse of excessive punishment on your children based on the social services saying that's what they said.
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, that's true. That's the only thing.
And then the public defender is not going to help you with beans. Jeez.
No, I mean, she's not, because actually they dropped my visits down from twice a week to once a month. It's whenever the worker is available.
Yeah. That's wrong. That's so wrong in there. There's no question about that.
And then she also forced us to get rid of our family therapist. She tried to use my kids as a visual therapist to say that I haven't seen my children in months, which was a lie. I seen them January 17th. We had a 2-hour visit at my home, and they were able to see their bedrooms that I personally decorated for them with the help of my father, who is deceased. He helped me renovate the home in preparation of, me and my children being reunited back together. So they were able to play in their home and open up their Christmas gifts. And it was supposed to actually be a 3-day Christmas visit. They were supposed to take them to one of my auntie house in Chicago.
Right.
But they wound up chopping it up to only 2 hours.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So I've been through a lot.
Yeah, I can see that. You're a remarkable woman.
And it's just like so many unanswered questions, but I'm, grateful to talk to you about this. And I've been listening to your show, and it's been encouraging. And I'm just trying to, keep a good faith and stay prayerful.
It is hard. It's so hard. I know what you're going through. I felt like I was in Alice in Wonderland. I went down a rabbit hole, and all these doors were going nowhere. All these people were not helping me. And this went really a bad time. I had a year and a half trying to fight CPS by myself, and I finally had to get an attorney. And that's how I got my kids back.
Yeah, I couldn't afford an attorney, unfortunately.
Well, I had to sell my house to get an attorney. What I did, it took me 40 years to get my house. I was maxed out because I had a credit line and a first, and the value of the home was almost expensive. So when I sold my house, I got very little for my attorney.
Well, I'm happy you were able to get your children back, and thank you.
Well, I got 2 of the 3 back. I didn't get the 3rd with the girl. And what they did for her, the social worker, we were doing some cross-examination to her because my wife's sister was trying to adopt my daughter, and we didn't want that to happen. And so the social worker lied, and we caught her in a lie in the stand. And she wanted to do revenge, so she said to us, "You'll never see your daughter again. She's going to be adopted." And sure enough, she told my daughter at age 12, "You divorce your parents, you divorce your brothers, you divorce your grandparents, you change your name, you seal the birth certificate, and then you get adopted." And that's what she did. And we had a perfect opportunity for a lawsuit. We didn't have any more money to hire an attorney to do a lawsuit.
Right. Well, thank you once again, sir. I greatly appreciate it. I don't think I have any other questions.
Well, I'm trying to think. There's one thing I talked about was a motion to change our current plan or get a hearing before the judge. Now, your next hearing, how far off is that?
Okay, so my last question is, I have not lived in Des Moines, Iowa for over a year. Can I try to file a motion for the case to be moved, or is it within their jurisdiction because
it can be moved? It can be moved. The motion I was just talking about, let me pull up that motion there. In California, it's called a 388. But what it is, it's a 388 motion in California. But what it is, it's a modification of a juvenile court judgments and orders. So if you want to change your juvenile court judgments and orders, you file this motion. When there's a change of circumstances or new evidence, your change of circumstances would be the change to jurisdiction. You're going to
change the jurisdiction.
Yes, that's your change of circumstances.
Yeah, because I haven't stayed there in over a year, and I'm like, my kids, they're still in, Bettendorf, Iowa, or whatever, in foster placement with a woman and her husband. But I haven't been there in a year, and I don't understand why it still haven't been transferred over. I think they actually fear losing control, and they actually fear that if it is transferred over to Chicago, that they will dismiss the case.
Well, where's your job of employment is?
And I work at Richardson Park in Chicago, Illinois.
So you got a job there. Do you have do you have a home there for your kids?
Yes.
All right. So what you do is you do the motion there to modify and change from Des Moines, Iowa to Chicago, Illinois, and you want to have the venue there. Now, it can be done. There's see if I can pull up here. There's something called the CPS. It stands for Interstate Compact on the Placement of Children. And so it's something that could help you because they're supposed to make sure when the child is transferred that their safety is protected. And if you are the birth parents, you want to make sure you're unified with your kids that way. So it's called the Interstate Compact on the Placement of Children, the ICPC. And you can look that on the line about that. But you want to file that motion, and you can have that attorney file your motion.
Okay. Yeah.
You can file that motion to change the jurisdiction of where your case is being tried.
So if for whatever reason the attorney don't want to sign off on the motion, can I still place the motion myself?
You can do the motion yourself. You just got to make sure you serve it to all parties in the case. That means the social worker attorneys, the children's attorneys, and any other attorney connected, and the judge. You got to file it in the court, and the judge has 30 days to have a hearing with you. Then you're going to have to prove with your arguments why you want to change jurisdiction for your placement with your children, because you have a home, you have a job, everything's in Chicago, Illinois, Des Moines, Iowa. What was the purpose of going to Des Moines, Iowa?
Oh, housing. I had got Section 8, and I downgraded from actually a 3-bedroom townhouse to a 2-bedroom apartment.
Okay, all right.
So that's why I moved to Des Moines, Iowa. But I didn't have family out there, so that was another issue and problem. But all of my family are in Chicago, so I have the more support.
Yeah, well, that's where you need to be, and but that public defender needs to do it. If you don't like the public defender, you can ask for another one. One guy did 8 public defenders. One guy went through 8 public defenders. Well, your case is now going to be in Chicago, so you get a new public defender there.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate everything.
Well, I feel like I left you there with not, I feel helpless because I wish I could write a wand over you, but I'm glad that you got your warrant taken care of. And in the future, you don't want to talk to social workers.
I stayed on top of that. I actually represented myself and got my own case dismissed.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, these people, they don't know that I am familiar with the law. I was recruited in 8th grade to be in a law program, and I represented my law team 3 years in a row, number one. Won best attorney roles 3 years in a row, real courtroom, real judges, and I went on to do things like the Chicago Police Department. I shut down many cases.
Good to hear that.
So yeah, that's a passion of mine because I want to become a criminal attorney. I don't want to be a prosecutor. I don't want to be a defense, but I do want to tackle like racial injustice and different things of that nature. Like I want to give back and I want to help. Especially people that are in my situation.
That's super. Well, I want you to keep in touch. If you wanted to talk again tonight, you're welcome to, or tomorrow morning show. But tomorrow morning, I start at 4:00 in the morning Pacific Standard Time, and you're in Des Moines, Iowa. I think it'll be 7:00 in the morning your time.
Chicago. So I don't know what California and Chicago time is, but it's actually like 12:52 p.m. here in the afternoon.
So you're an hour ahead. Okay, so it'll be at 5:00 in the morning. My morning show tomorrow will be.
Okay, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it.
All right.
Appreciate everything, and I will tune in.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hello. Who's this?
Hello?
Yes. Hi, can you give me your name?
Yes, my name is Mandy Bunting.
Oh, hi, Mandy. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm calling in to speak with Bob's case.
Oh, you're speaking to him. Glad to meet you, Mandy.
Oh, hello. It's delayed.
It's okay. It shouldn't be delayed, but you are called from what?
How are you doing, Bob? I just heard your story.
Yeah, well, I have so many different stories. I mean, it's a long story. I'm hanging in there. It's been something I've been fighting for 14 years, and they've been a horrible entity. What city and state are you calling from?
Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Okay, and what is your CPS case about?
My CPS case. In my case, I called CPS for help. I'm the mother who called them to come into my home to interview my children.
That's the big mistake.
I was in college at the time at the University, West Virginia University of Parkersburg.
Yeah, I know.
I was one semester from my bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
And not to jump ahead, but just to let you know, during the penance of all of this happening to me, I actually went into social work.
Oh, congratulations.
Reserved a job in social work.
Great.
So I just wanted to share with the public, my case began in 2017. My oldest daughter had disclosed that she was being sexually assaulted by my ex-husband's new girlfriend at the time. She told me, she told the Children's Listening Place, which is our forensic interviewer. She told the detective, she told the magistrate, she told a neighbor, and then of course she also told CPS that she was being sexually assaulted by a female inside the home.
Wow, that is something else. You usually don't think of females.
Daughter,
yeah. You don't usually think of females.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
But I quickly jumped on the internet and I researched how many calls come into CPS for women sexually assaulting children. I
think very little. Go ahead.
Well, actually, it was around the number 1,148 calls came into the United Kingdom to CPS for females molesting children.
Now you said the United Kingdom?
Yes.
Are you calling from the United Kingdom, or I thought you were calling from West Virginia?
No.
Okay.
No, but that's just to reiterate my research. And the first thing that popped up on my Google search, because I was very taken back by it as well. So I researched how many women sexually assault children. So as soon as my daughter told me that she was being harmed, I immediately went to the magistrate. I called my priest. I called family. I called friends. And then I also called the police department.
Okay.
And everything was going according to exactly what you're supposed to do if your daughter had been sexually assaulted.
Okay.
And I went to court. CPS was on my side.
Oh,
his name was John Rush.
Great.
Yes. So I go to Judge Tallman's office in Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Okay, we don't want to use names. Don't use the names, but I mean the Parkersburg is all right, but don't use the judge's names or the social worker names.
So I went into court in front of the family law judge.
Okay.
And neither one of the defendants showed up. I then learned that the female who was sexually assaulting my daughter took a flight out of the country. She left the entire country.
Wow.
And the judge said that because they didn't show up, that he was going to give them another chance to show up. And this was all with the CPS worker by my side.
Okay.
Because he interviewed my daughters, and he knew my daughters were telling the truth.
All right.
That they had both been abused. My youngest daughter physically.
Mm-hmm.
So the court dates were continued. I was not given notification of the continued court date. I kept checking my mailbox. There was no issuance of a continued court date. CPS knocked on my door 41 days later and said, "We're taking your children for failure to protect."
Oh my God. Oh boy.
They came at 5 p.m.
Did they have a warrant to take your children?
They had a warrant for failure to protect.
Well, they have a warrant for failure to protect, but did they have a warrant to enter your home or a warrant to take your children?
They came with 2 police officers.
Yeah, well, that's called the intimidation factor that CPS uses. And why they reversed, your children were molested by this woman that left the country. And
my oldest daughter.
Yeah, your oldest daughter. And now they have somehow twisted around and think you could have prevented that woman from molesting your daughter.
Actually, what they said, the day that they came to my home at 5 p.m., I was a college senior, consecutive dean's list, in church 4 days a week. I sang in the Christmas choir, seasonal, with my children. I attended women's Bible study in church every Sunday, and I was organizing community events for underprivileged children.
Okay.
Okay. So they knock on my door and they say, that continued court date that we came with you to support you, you didn't show up to it today. And we're here to take your children.
Well, did you tell me you didn't know about that court date?
I absolutely did. And my 6-year-old daughter wrote it in her journal. You should see my Facebook page. My daughter writes all about it. She says, Mom and I and Sissy were all out at Kroger shopping before dinner to get stuff to make tacos. We were in our room playing with our Barbies while Mommy was cooking dinner. My daughter's attended a private Catholic school.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So, my daughter states in her journal, she says, the police came in and pushed Mommy and came upstairs and grabbed us by our arms and told us that we had to leave and pushed us. My 6 and 4-year-old children.
Wow. And there's no imminent danger. There's no imminent danger going on.
Absolutely not.
See, they're supposed to have imminent danger before they enter the home. Did you give them permission to enter the home?
Do you know what the imminent danger was?
What?
The mom who went to the police station, the magistrate, I called my priest, family, friends, and all of these people, I'm saying, we need support right now. My daughter says that she's being abused. They said that my children were in imminent danger because they said that I was going to take my children back to their father's house.
Huh.
They wrote in their paperwork, these children are in imminent danger because the mother failed to appear for a DVPO.
And what was the reason why they didn't notify you?
Well, now that I know who CPS is, I know exactly why. Because anybody that's rational in any sense, any community member, if you're a part of a community, especially the way that I was with my children, you would call that mother and you would say, there's a court date hearing today. And it's at this time, and you must appear. And the mother that I am, I would have been there.
And when you said that to the social worker, what did they say?
The social worker, can I say her name?
No, just say the social worker. That's fine. Just say social worker. You want to call her number one.
My story has a real twist to it.
Why?
Because the two CPS supervisors who unlawfully and illegally took my children for the community member that I was, and being a mom in college and working 2 jobs and raising my children and doing multiple events for charity in the community.
Yeah.
Both of their sons died as soon as they signed the dotted line to take my children. My hand to God.
Who died?
Both of the sons of the CPS supervisors.
Why did that? I mean, so a CPS, anyway, the child protection system there in West Virginia, the person that's a social worker, his sons died?
The two women. The two women who lied to take my children.
Oh.
The community supervisor, her son committed suicide. The CPS supervisor who knew that my daughters were being harmed and took them out of my care, her son was murdered in a foreign country.
Wow. That is quite a twist. I've never heard of this. It's really, wow. Your case started off, you call in because your daughters are being molested by a woman. That woman flees the area.
My oldest daughter.
Yeah. Your oldest daughter, and that woman flees the country. Meanwhile, there was a court hearing made, and they didn't notify you all.
Right.
And
or I would have been there.
Yeah, and then they wanted to change.
I'm the mother who is literally on the telephone with the police department, the priest, family, friends, and I'm at the magistrate court and calling the police department for help. And they're saying that I'm failing to protect my children.
Wow. Now, you didn't have nothing but a public defender? Who was your attorney?
Oh no. I hired 2 attorneys.
Okay.
And the first attorney that I paid, CPS, has finally stated after 2 years, return these children to their mother, make a parenting plan, transition has begun, give this woman her children back.
Okay.
My court-appointed attorney, we both attended the same college. For some reason, he couldn't make it to an MDT meeting where there was supposed to be a parental plan put into place, and then my children were going to be reunified indefinitely.
Yeah, the court-appointed attorney, you can't expect him to be following through. He's friends of social services. He's friends of the court. And he's not a really good attorney.
So I fired him.
Right.
So I fired him, and I hired an attorney from the church.
Okay. All right. Was that attorney a family law attorney?
He practices family law.
Okay, good. Had he fought CPS before?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, okay. That's not your fault. I mean,
just real quickly, hey Bob.
Yeah, go ahead.
These are the people that showed up to my court hearing, okay?
Okay.
And please listen very clearly, Bob.
I will.
The Wood County Public Librarian. We live in a small town. The librarian came to my court date hearing.
Why was she there?
The president of because she knows me and my children.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm a mom in the community.
Okay.
Because I serve the poor and I give to charity and I do anything for families in this community.
Right. Understood.
The president of the West Virginia Tea Party came to my court hearing.
Okay.
My priest came to the court date hearing.
Okay.
Three supervised visitation workers came to my court date hearing.
Okay.
Parishioners from churches. Mothers from my children's school. A mother, excuse me.
Okay. All right.
And we all had a prayer meeting outside of the courthouse.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So my lawyer comes in. So now I hired another attorney. My children actually gave him $5,000 in cash in a white envelope. My children were home with me. He knocked on the door at Christmas time. I said, "Girl, go give him his money." And they ran right down the stairs and opened the door and gave it right to him.
That's great. That's beautiful.
Wonderful, right?
Yes, really wonderful.
Okay. So at this time, I'm now contacting the mayor of Parkersburg, and I meet with him twice.
Okay.
I then contact the senator of the state of West Virginia.
Good.
He knows who I am.
Good.
He used to come to the college, and I would sit front and center when he gave speeches at West Virginia University at Parkersburg.
Right.
The senator knows who I am.
Okay.
And he promised to
Okay.
I contacted Governor Jim Justice. And Governor Jim Justice's secretary, she began trying to arrange for me to meet with Governor Jim Justice.
Okay.
Because I called him all the time. And I went on the news station here in Parkersburg, West Virginia, leading the Save Our Children's March for abused and exploited children.
Okay.
At the time where I was working social services.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
I also met underground with other families in a city, I believe, outside of Ripley, West Virginia.
All right.
And we would meet underground at Elks Club.
Okay.
We had teachers coming in.
All right.
Who have lost their children. Okay? We met in like this wooded area.
All right.
So there's a woman named, well, we can't say names, but she was running for Congress at the time.
Right. Okay.
Okay? So I'm constantly, wherever she is, I'm there. And I called CPS the horror stories. And I went on the woman running for Congress. She had CPS cases going on outside of Wood County and other jurisdictions.
Right.
And I would show up to those as well.
Okay.
So the judge.
Yeah. I'm going to have to stop at this moment. Doesn't mean you can't continue. I'd love you to be on my next show. My problem is I only have a 1 hour window and I've already gone 1 minute over my time. And I think it's very important for the listeners. Yes.
Is there any advice that you can give me?
Well, I would have to talk to you further. You have to have a real attorney, not a public defender, because they will not do you justice. They will not do you justice. And they are really friends of the court and the judge. I don't know if the judge is biased. Now, since your kids are returned, is your case over?
My children were not returned.
Oh, so what was the money given to their lawyer then?
On the day that I was told that we were coming in to sign documentation for my children to be returned.
Oh.
My lawyer told me we are not going into court.
And why was that?
He said, go ahead and sign this form, and your children will be home in 4 months.
Oh, boy.
So I'm prepared to go into court. But we never did.
Yeah. Well, let me do this. Let me go ahead. I have to end my show here. And can you do this? Can you come back and talk maybe tomorrow night or tonight? Can you talk my evening show tonight and continue your story?
I think that would be wonderful. What time?
I'm on at 7 o'clock at night, Pacific Standard Time. And you're on
10 p.m. here.
Yes, you're on Eastern Time. Yes.
I really appreciate it, Bob. Thank you.
Thank you. And God bless you and all our listeners,
Thank
everything
you.
here.
You as well.
Right. This is Bob Pace signing off. Thank you.